Lately, there is something about you that has been catching people's attention in ways they cannot fully explain. It is not just your appearance. It is not only your clothing or the way you present yourself. It is not even only the things you say. It is the feeling people sense before you even speak. It is the quiet change in the atmosphere when you enter a room. It is the small pause when someone looks at you a little longer than they expected. Stay with me, because this matters. Something within you is shifting, and the people around you are noticing it before they can even understand why. Some people are confused because you seem gentler and stronger at the same time. Some are surprised because your eyes carry both kindness and the lessons you have learned. Others cannot figure out why your presence feels peaceful but still stays in their memory. And that is the difference. You are no longer being noticed only by what people can see. You are being experienced by what people can feel. There is a powerful difference between the two. You did not become this version of yourself because everything was easy. You did not grow through comfort and perfect moments. You became this person through quiet struggles, hidden challenges, deep reflection, and nights when you had to carry things nobody else knew about. Now that inner transformation is beginning to appear on the outside, not in a way that demands attention, in a way that naturally attracts it. So stay until the end, because you may finally understand why certain people respond to you differently, why some memories keep returning, and why your presence is beginning to create an impact that looks alone could never create. There are moments in life when change happens in a way everyone can see. People notice the new relationship, the new opportunity, the big achievement, the major decision, or the obvious turning point. But there are also quieter seasons, the ones where the deepest transformation happens silently during normal days. No celebration, no recognition, no one fully knowing what you are fighting inside. That is the kind of journey you have been through. Somewhere between disappointment and rebuilding, between wanting to give up and choosing to continue, between feeling exhausted and still moving forward, something inside you became stronger. You became more aware. You became more patient. You learned things that cannot be taught by words alone. That is why people now sense something different when they are around you. Some may notice your smile first, but what stays with them is the peace behind that smile. Some may see your appearance, but what truly affects them is the calm confidence in your energy. It feels genuine. And in a world where many people pretend, hide, and try too hard to impress, authenticity becomes powerful. Keep listening, because this next part reveals something important. The light people notice in you today did not come from a life without pain. It came from choosing healing instead of anger. It came from keeping your heart open after experiencing disappointment. It came from learning how to stay kind, even when life tested your patience. That type of growth changes everything about a person. It changes the way you communicate. It changes how you listen. It changes the way you respond when situations become difficult. You no longer react to everything the same way because you have learned to understand before judging. You have learned to pause before speaking. You have learned that peace is more valuable than proving yourself to everyone. Even people who do not understand personal growth can feel this difference. They may not have the words for it, but they notice something has changed. This is why your energy, your presence, and the way you carry yourself may have been surprising people lately. Sometimes you appear youthful, full of curiosity, warmth, and excitement for life. Then, in another moment, people see your maturity, your wisdom, and your deeper understanding of the world. That combination is rare. It creates a presence that people remember. Many people are used to seeing only one side of someone. They expect a person to be either playful or serious, either emotional or calm, either soft or strong. But when someone carries both sides together, it creates curiosity. People begin to wonder what changed. They begin to notice the difference. And sometimes, without even realizing it, they feel drawn to the person you have become. You are no longer someone people can easily place into simple categories. Young or wise, gentle or powerful, quiet or confident. You now carry different qualities together, and that combination makes you difficult to forget. There is likely someone, maybe even several people, who noticed this during a normal, everyday moment. Maybe you were having a simple conversation. Maybe you were just being yourself. Maybe you were not trying to impress anyone at all. Yet somehow, your presence reached them in a way they did not expect. Not because you tried to gain attention, not because you acted differently, but because they felt something rare around you. They felt emotionally comfortable. They felt accepted. They felt a sense of peace. And that feeling has become uncommon. Many people spend years meeting attractive faces and impressive personalities, but still leave those connections feeling empty. Then suddenly they meet someone whose energy feels genuine, stable, and honest. Someone who does not create pressure, but creates calm. And without realizing it, they start thinking about that person again and again. That is the kind of impact you may be creating now. People are beginning to remember more than your appearance. They remember the emotion they felt when they were around you. And when someone becomes connected to a feeling, the impact goes much deeper than simple attraction. Stay until the end, because there is a deeper reason why this chapter of your life feels different from everything before. The people who are most surprised by your transformation are often those who knew an older version of you. They remember the version that questioned itself, the version that searched for answers outside, the version that sometimes needed reassurance from others. They expected to see that same person again, but instead they found someone different. Someone more peaceful, someone more balanced, someone who is still kind but no longer easily shaken, someone who does not feel the need to prove their value because they finally understand it. That type of change can affect people more than they openly admit, because when they look at you now, they realize something important. Time did not take away your shine, it shaped it. Difficult experiences did not destroy your heart. They gave it more depth. The challenges you survived did not make you colder. They helped you become wiser, and that realization can stay with people long after the conversation ends. There are quiet thoughts people have about you that you may never hear. Small moments where they mention how different your energy feels, how peaceful you seem, how there is something comforting about being around you. Not because you became louder, not because you started seeking attention, but because you became more authentic. You became more aligned with who you truly are. And when someone carries real peace, people naturally notice. Some people may smile when your name comes up and not even understand the reason. Some may remember old conversations, old moments, or past memories, and suddenly view them differently. They begin to see things they missed before. They realize you were changing even when they could not see it. And what surprises them most is not that you became a completely different person. It is that you became a stronger, clearer, and more complete version of yourself. That kind of transformation can be powerful to witness, especially for people who once underestimated you. But there is another reason why reactions around you may feel stronger lately. Your presence is beginning to make people reflect on themselves. When people spend time with you, they do not only notice your qualities, they also become aware of their own emotions. Your calmness may remind them of the stress they carry. Your honesty may remind them of the things they hide. Your openness may remind them of the walls they created to protect themselves. Not everyone knows how to handle that feeling. Some people feel inspired, some feel uncomfortable, some become emotional without knowing the reason. But the explanation is simple. When someone develops inner peace after difficult experiences, it naturally reveals things in others that they may have ignored for a long time. Stay with me, because this next part explains why people may react to you in ways they cannot easily describe. That is why even a small interaction with you can stay in someone's thoughts. A simple look, a short conversation, a few words exchanged in an ordinary moment. Something about it feels different. Some people become quieter around you because they are processing what they feel. Others become more open because they sense they can trust you. You are creating an emotional effect without trying to create one. And the interesting thing is this: the less you force yourself to be noticed, the more naturally memorable you become. Think about that. The version of you who once worried about being enough is slowly becoming a thing of the past. In its place, something stronger is growing, something calm, something secure. You may still have moments of uncertainty. You may still have days where you question yourself. That is part of being human, but your entire sense of worth is no longer controlled by other people's opinions. And that freedom changes the way you carry yourself. People feel that difference. They may not have the words to explain it, but they recognize it. There may be someone who noticed this change before anyone else. They noticed how you communicate now, how you no longer rush to impress, how your silence feels peaceful instead of uncomfortable, how you listen with more patience, how your reactions feel calmer and more thoughtful. They saw a version of you that was not trying to convince anyone of your value. And somewhere in that simple moment, something shifted in their mind. They realized you became captivating without trying to be the center of attention. You became memorable without chasing recognition. That realization stayed with them. It returned while they were busy, while they were working, while they were doing ordinary things. And what affected them was not only attraction, it was the feeling that they were witnessing someone who had truly changed. Someone who had walked through challenges and came out with more peace, more strength, and more clarity than before. A feeling that your presence reached a part of them they had not experienced for a long time. A feeling of peace, a feeling of hope, a feeling of emotional comfort. Maybe even the possibility of something genuine and meaningful. And for people who are used to confusion, uncertainty, and draining connections, that kind of calm can feel unfamiliar. Sometimes peace feels strange when someone has lived in constant tension. Healing can feel unusual when someone is used to surviving. Realness can feel almost overwhelming when someone has spent years around people who only show a version of themselves. But even then, they continue returning to the memory of you. A simple smile, a small conversation, a sentence you said without thinking. A moment where your eyes met for only a few seconds. To everyone else, it might have looked like nothing important, but to them, it felt different. It created a feeling they could not easily forget. And this is becoming stronger because your energy is no longer just passing through people. It is staying with them. It is becoming part of their emotional memory, and emotional memories often last much longer than temporary attention. Stay with me, because this explains why your impact is reaching people in ways you may not even realize. This is also why even strangers may have started responding to you differently in small but noticeable ways. A kinder tone when they speak to you, a longer moment of connection, a natural sense of trust, conversations that become deeper than expected without you forcing anything. You might think these moments are random, but they reflect something that has changed within you. They are the outside signs of the inner work you have done. For a long time, you may have believed that because your struggles were private, your growth would remain invisible. You may have thought that because nobody saw the battles you fought, nobody would notice the person you became. But real growth always reveals itself eventually, not through trying to appear perfect, through the way you exist, through the way you carry yourself, through the peace in your reactions. Your presence has changed. People who once placed you into an old image are starting to realize that image no longer fits. Their previous opinions no longer match who you are today. And that can be confusing for people who thought they already understood you. Keep listening, because there is a deeper reason some reactions around you feel stronger now. There may be someone who is experiencing this change more deeply than they are willing to admit. They believed they understood your personality. They believed they knew your weaknesses, your fears, and your limits. They thought they knew how you would always respond. But now they are seeing something different. They are seeing a person who has become calmer, more confident, and more comfortable within themselves. They are noticing that your strength is not something you announce. It is something you carry. And that can be difficult for someone who once underestimated you. What they are witnessing is not fake confidence. It is not an attempt to get attention. It is not a temporary change. It is genuine peace. And genuine peace has a different kind of power. It does not chase. It does not beg. It does not need constant approval. It simply exists, and people naturally feel its presence. That may be one of the biggest changes happening in your life right now. You are no longer running after connection from a place of needing to be chosen. Your energy is becoming attractive because it is coming from a place of self-respect and inner stability. Some people are especially surprised because life did not change you in the way they expected. They thought disappointment would make you colder. They thought waiting would make you lose hope. They thought difficult experiences would remove your softness and replace it with bitterness. But something different happened. Life shaped you instead of destroying you. You still carry compassion. You still have warmth. You still believe in kindness, even after experiencing moments that could have made you close your heart completely. And that difference is powerful because many people secretly wonder if pain will eventually take away the best parts of them. Then they meet someone who shows another possibility, someone who became wiser without becoming harsh, someone who became stronger without becoming cruel, someone who became deeper without becoming emotionally distant. And suddenly, they are reminded of something important. Hard experiences do not always ruin a gentle person. Sometimes they create a person with more understanding, more patience, and more beauty that cannot be copied. That is what people may be sensing when they say you seem different lately, when they say you look changed, when they say your energy feels unique. They are not only reacting to your appearance, they are noticing the story behind your presence. They are seeing the strength that developed quietly. They are feeling the kindness that survived difficult moments. They are recognizing the balance between your softness and your confidence. The truth is, some transformations happen so deeply that they become visible without explanation. And because of this, there may be a conversation approaching in your life that appears simple but carries a much deeper meaning. Someone may reveal, directly or indirectly, that they have been noticing your change for longer than you realized. It may come through a casual comment. It may appear as a meaningful compliment. It may come through a moment of honesty where someone finally expresses what they have been observing. And when it happens, you may feel a pause inside because a part of you already sensed it. You already noticed the different reactions, the longer looks, the warmer conversations, the people returning after distance, the unexpected kindness from strangers, the way certain people try to act normal but cannot completely hide their feelings. None of these moments are meaningless. Your transformation has moved beyond what people can simply see. It has reached the way you connect, the way you communicate, the way people remember you after you leave. Your presence now carries something that stays with people beyond the moment itself. That is why someone may find themselves thinking about you during a quiet night. Not because of an unrealistic fantasy, not because of something dramatic, but because they are replaying the small details. The way you listened, the way you smiled, the way you made them feel comfortable being themselves. Sometimes the smallest moments create the strongest memories. And when someone experiences a rare sense of peace around another person, they often remember it for much longer than they expect. Your impact is becoming something people feel, even when they cannot fully explain it. And that is the quiet power of becoming the person you were always meant to become. The way you paid attention when they spoke, the way your eyes carried kindness, the way your calmness changed the entire atmosphere around you. They are trying to understand why being around you affected them in such a deep way. And the answer is actually simpler than they realize. You felt genuine. You felt comforting. You felt emotionally open without being fragile. You felt powerful without becoming cold. That balance is uncommon, and when people finally experience something uncommon, they do not always know how to respond. Sometimes they move closer because they feel connected. Sometimes they step back because the feeling feels unfamiliar. Sometimes they become quiet because they are processing something they did not expect. But no matter how they react, one thing remains the same. They remember you. They remember the feeling you created. And the more you become comfortable with who you are, the stronger this impact becomes. Stay with me, because this next part reveals why this period of your life may feel so different. If emotions have felt stronger lately, if simple moments seem to carry more meaning, if people react to you in ways you did not expect, there is a reason something is shifting around your presence. You are moving into a season where the people who truly understand your value will begin to see what others failed to notice. Let that idea stay with you. The right people will not need endless explanations about your worth. They will naturally recognize it. They will notice your honesty. They will feel your peace. They will appreciate your depth and the warmth you bring into their lives. And that kind of recognition can heal parts of you that ordinary compliments never could. Because this chapter is not about becoming admired by everyone. It is about being genuinely understood by the people who are meant to appreciate you. That is a completely different experience. It goes deeper. It creates a stronger connection. It changes the way you see yourself from within. There may be moments ahead when people become more open about what they notice in you. Not empty praise. Not surface-level words. Real appreciation. The kind that shows someone has been quietly paying attention to your growth, your changes, and the way you carry yourself now. When those moments happen, do not immediately brush them away. Do not make yourself smaller. Do not allow old doubts to convince you that you do not deserve to be seen. Accept the kindness. Allow yourself to understand that your healing was never pointless. Your progress was never unnoticed. Your gentle nature was never something to hide. It became part of your strength. It became the very quality that changes how people feel when they are around you. And if your mind is still adjusting to this newer version of yourself, that is completely natural. Sometimes other people recognize our transformation before we fully recognize it ourselves. Sometimes the outside world notices the change before our own heart catches up. But that does not make it any less real. It means something meaningful has been happening within you. The more you release the need to constantly seek approval, the more your presence begins to communicate without effort. Your actions become louder than explanations. Your energy becomes clearer than words. And this is where everything begins to change. Your true beauty was never only about what people could see. Your real transformation comes from everything your inner self protected through difficult seasons. It comes from the nights you survived quietly. The moments when you chose understanding instead of resentment. The times when you stayed compassionate even when becoming distant would have felt easier. The private choices you made to keep your heart open, even if you had to do it slowly and carefully. Those moments shaped you. They created a version of you that cannot be copied. That is why people may sense something different around you now. That is why some people feel peaceful when they are near you, while others feel emotions they cannot explain. That is why someone may find themselves remembering small details about you long after the interaction ends. A simple gesture, a kind word, a moment where they felt understood. Your presence is no longer asking people to notice you. It is simply leaving an impression. You are not creating this shift in your imagination. Something has changed, and it continues to grow. Soon, certain things may become clearer without you having to force anything. Some people may become more honest about what they feel. Some connections may reveal their true direction. Some moments may confirm feelings you have quietly sensed for a while. The important thing is this: you are not becoming someone completely different. You are becoming more aligned with who you truly are. You are not disappearing. You are becoming more defined. You are not losing your softness. You are discovering the strength that has always existed inside that softness. And when this next stage of your life fully unfolds, You may finally understand something your past self needed to hear. You were never too difficult to love. You were never lacking in value. You were never invisible. You were growing in ways people could not see. You were becoming stronger quietly. You were rebuilding yourself patiently. You were transforming in silence. And now the world around you is beginning to notice the person you have always been becoming.